with Tracy in LA. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Dance Journey. Today we have special guest Lily Sheahan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lily, and Tracy and I just took a class together, and it was so much fun.
It was so fun. Well, it was so fun. It was actually Lily's class. What did we just take together, Lily?
So on Saturdays at the C Spot, I teach 2 classes. One is a technique class, and then the other one is a Palm Plus class. So essentially, it's like cheer, dance, palm, jazz class. And so it's like a jazz funk jazz class with pom-poms.
That was an excellent description.
Thank
That's
you.
what it felt like.
Good.
It felt like sort of jazz funk, but then with do we not call them pom-poms? Do we just call them poms?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think you can use it interchangeably.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because sometimes I say, like, go get your palms, and then sometimes I'm like, shake your pom-poms. That's a great question. I've never been asked that before.
Because when I was little, like, we called them pom-poms.
Pom-poms.
But I never done poms as, like, an adult.
know.
This is my first time doing that as an adult. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, it's cool to only say poms
I think that
now?
the cool, like, mature way is to say palms.
Okay.
Pom-pom.
Good to know.
That's a good
And isn't your
question,
class
though.
called Palm Plus?
Palm Plus, yeah.
What does that mean?
It's a little confusing because when I lived in Arizona, that's where I'm from, we called it palm, which is that style with the pom-poms. But when I moved here, a lot of people call it song, like song dance.
Okay.
Have you heard of song?
Yeah, I think
Like
because
the song team?
Yes, I've interviewed someone and they were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all when I first moved here, so I always called it Palm. So I called the class Palm Plus because I didn't want to limit it to just being like Palm style, but the style is like cheer inspired, like cheer performance, cheer dance, like Palm song, NFL style, NBA style. So kind of all of those styles just all in one class.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had taken Lily's technique class before, which was good. It doesn't fit into my regular schedule, but I've always liked Lily because we take a few classes together.
Yeah.
And sometimes when there's difficult moves, I look at Lily because she often knows how to do them, especially the athletic moves.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been always really great about helping me. I'll be like, Lily, how do I get this better?
Yeah.
Or she'll give me good tips. And then I'm like, oh, that'll help me. So I think you're a very good teacher.
Thank you so much.
Even when you're not being
Thank
paid
you
to
so
teach.
Much. That's really nice of you to say. Just for everybody, I am a teacher, like in my day job.
Yeah.
So I definitely I love to teach. I love to teach dance. I love to teach academics too. So yeah, I love explaining things, but I also really like when people feel comfortable doing the moves. So I think when you're in class and doing a combo and the choreographer gives you a move that is really challenging or just you don't know how to do it, it can really trip you up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want people to get stuck on something because they're just I don't know how to do this trick. So I do like to give a little it's okay, it's just a 1-2 step type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I definitely get that from you.
Good.
You're like, I'll help you with that for a minute.
Yeah, just
and then I'm
really
like, okay,
quick.
I feel better now.
Uh-huh.
And then I look at Lily as my standard. I'm like, do I look like I watch a video, I'm like, did I look like Lily when I did that? But about
You're
the
too
palm
nice.
class though,
Yeah.
I would have never taken a palm class of my own volition. But this was the class Lily chose for me to take for our podcast. And let me just tell you that as soon as I held those palms,
Yes.
it was like,
This is fun.
I feel it.
It's so fun, right?
I'm like, this is kind of cute.
Yes, it's so
and
cute.
I kind of liked shaking them around.
I'm so glad.
And I was like, I don't know that I would never
Yeah.
take a class again.
Yeah. No, okay. So, yes, I love technique. I love making up a routine, but the palm class that I teach is so just feel good vibes, I guess. So, I also kind of like to think of it as somewhat Zumba inspired.
I get that.
In the beginning when we do just step claps with the pom-poms, that's very Zumba based. Just follow along, get into the music, and the style is so like performative, and it's just like high energy, bubbly fun. And so it can be a really fun class to take. It's just like
Yeah.
sparkly and smiley and very
Yeah.
upbeat. Yeah.
It made me feel like I was like dressed up, even though
Right?
I don't ever dress up for class. I
And
know for
those,
like heels classes they dress up, and I know you have that experience, but I don't really go to classes where we dress up. But just like
yeah,
holding the palms, I was
right?
like, ooh, I feel
And
sparkly,
it
I feel
just,
dressed up.
it adds like the palms just add a little bit of like glitter, shimmer. Yeah.
And
I'm
then
happy you felt that
and then
way.
when you were like, now if you want to make this move better, like kind of
Shake
shake the
them.
palms while you're doing it. I was like, ooh,
Okay.
that does look cool.
Yes, and like, oh my gosh, I love the palms too as a prop. I feel like whenever you have a prop, you just have a little bit of an added element to your
Mhm.
dancing. And so, something that I love to add into a palm routine or whenever I'm doing palm is I love the way it sounds.
Mhm.
And so, I talk about this sometimes in my class. Like, if you were to do the combo without music, you would still know like the tempo and the beat of it because you can hear like the cha cha or like the clap. It makes a big sound. And I really like that. I don't know, I'm very like
Yeah.
sensory oriented. So, I like how it adds like a visual sparkle glitter effect, but it also has like the sound effect.
Yeah.
It's very like all encompassing.
I really like the sound as well.
Yeah,
And like
right?
I did not know that I would like all of that.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it
good.
was
I'm
pretty
glad.
fun.
It's definitely a unique thing too. I don't think they like have a lot of these palm classes. I definitely think it's getting a lot more popular, which is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, it's really fun to teach, and I like when people take it because people are usually like, "Okay, this is kind of fun. Like this is a good time."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you do want to take Lily's class, just so you know, she is going on vacation for a bit,
I'm going on hiatus. I'm taking a vacation.
which is probably well deserved. I know you're
Yes.
working all the time usually.
I work a lot and I do a lot of like extracurricular things. So I'm actually taking a break and I'm going on a trip and I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm on hiatus. So stay tuned for whenever I'm back teaching my different
Yeah, I'll put her
classes.
Instagram, so follow her and you can keep up to date with her classes and everything else she's doing. And I want to see the fun vacation
Oh my
things as
gosh.
well.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, okay, so Lily, first let us know, what does your current dance life look like? Because I feel like you do dance in a lot of ways because you teach and you also train yourself. So talk about what your current dance life looks like.
Okay. Um, I feel like this year has been a year of trying things. For the past year, I've been trying all different kinds of classes I've never taken before. I auditioned for the first time in my life ever, which was so crazy, like a cool experience. And I started teaching more. So I guess right now I am still coaching the Palm team at Santa Monica High School. I'm taking regularly Christian's class, who you had on previously.
Contemporary.
Shout out, Christian. I love you.
We
I
love
love
Christian.
your class. It is so much fun every Monday. And it's a really challenging class, which I really enjoy too. I dabble in heels classes every so often. I'm trying to find more hip hop classes. There was one that I really liked at LA Dance Fit with Kiari, and there's also Topher. Shout out Topher.
Topher.
I need to come back to LA Dance Fit to come see you. And then I teach at the C Spot on Saturdays, but I'm taking my hiatus, and then I'll be back at some point. And yeah, I think that's
I
my
saw
dance
that
journey.
you choreographed
Oh, yes.
for a studio or something.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Because
How
I
can
really like the
forget?
piece.
Thank you so much for reminding me because this was also a relatively recent and new experience for me too. So I have been long-term subbing at a dance studio called The Pretenders, and it is in Santa Monica. It has a lot of my Palm girls at the studio.
Okay.
And so I know a lot of the students from my school job, and that's been really fun because it's gotten me a lot closer to some of the girls. And so basically, I have been long term subbing and finishing up some pieces for their end of year recital.
Nice.
Which was actually last weekend, and it went really well.
Aw.
And the pieces turned out great. And that studio is just so like heartfelt,
Aw.
open arms, like huge community based dance studio. So shout out Lisa at Pretenders, shout out Pretenders Studio. So that's been really fun, and hopefully I can still work there, work with the girls in some capacity, and they are on the Palm team too. So
Do they have a
Yeah.
summer? Does that studio have like a kind of a break in the summer
they
or
have
no?
a break in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That works
So
then.
we're on summer break right now, and we'll pick it back up in the fall and see where I go, what I do. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot of options out there, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go back in time because I knew a little bit about that
Yeah.
current Lily.
Yeah.
Not everything, but you grew up in Arizona.
Yes.
Okay, so talk about how you first got involved in dance.
Oh my gosh, this is so interesting to talk about like the Arizona dance situation and the LA dance situation. So, going way, way back, I was born in Dallas, Texas. I went to this studio, and it was a massive, like, kids studio.
How old were you?
I was like 2. Like,
Oh,
I've
wow,
been
okay.
dancing since I was baby. My mom was a dancer, and so she put me in dance. I immediately loved it. I love to dance. And so, yeah, I started out with everything at such a young age, but the studio in Texas was very much like the glitz and glam and the costumes.
Okay.
And the costumes were so cute and the routines were cute, but it wasn't like proper like training and stuff like that. It wasn't competitive. So then I moved to Arizona, and I found the best dance studio ever, Michaela's Dance Magic. Hello, MDM fam. I think about you guys all the time. And yeah, so that dance studio was highly competitive. I probably danced for like 20 to 25 hours a week, and I lived at the studio.
And how old were you when you started that?
That was 3rd grade.
Okay.
So from 3rd grade onward, I began becoming a lot more technical and competitive, and we took classes in all different styles. So I had like 2 ballet classes, a contemporary, a jazz, a point class, tap, hip hop,
Wow.
tumbling, like all the classic disciplines,
Yeah.
I guess.
And you did it all after school?
All after school. I would
Wow.
go to school, and then we had a carpool set up, which is where I met my best friends ever. Like,
Aw.
my dance friends are just like my forever family. And so yeah, we had a carpool set up. We would go to someone's house, one of the mom's houses. We would eat a snack, and then we'd go to dance. And we would eat dinner at dance. We would play games at the studio. Like, I was just always there. Always.
Wow.
Always there.
And do you have siblings?
I have an older sister who did not dance at all. She's definitely more sporty than I was. She did swimming and track, and she did dance when she was younger, but didn't
So your
work out
parents
for
would they just like drop you off
Yeah.
like every day for like
Yes.
a bunch of hours?
Yes. It was like my parents' way of babysitting in a way too. And luckily for them, like, I loved it. I never get tired of dance, which is just
Wow.
crazy, because I do go through phases of like really loving something, and then it kind of fizzles out. Dance is seriously something that will always like catch my attention, and I could do it for hours.
I love that. I love that. Okay, and so you were training really hard at
Yes.
this studio in Arizona.
Yes.
And then
Yeah, so that was like a super competitive studio, did competitions. And then in college, I did the CSUN dance team. And I did
so you moved out here.
Yes. So
Okay.
I moved to California. I went to Cal State Northridge. And then I did the college dance team at CSUN. And I did that for 2 years. And then I actually quit the dance team, which is kind of shocking. I just needed a break. I feel like a lot of dancers go through like a burnout phase. I was burnt out. I wasn't loving it. And I did a lot of other stuff in college too. And so I was like, I have to quit something. And I was like, I need a break from dance, which is like hard to believe.
So you did sort of
I did
stop loving it for like a
sort of.
little bit because you were burned out.
Yes and no. I never stopped loving dance. I didn't love like that type of.
I see. The competitiveness or.
I don't know. Maybe it was the competitiveness. It was more so just like performing at games.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I can't pinpoint like exactly what I was burnt out. I needed a break. I loved the girls on the dance team. I had fun with it. I really liked training. I loved performing, but yeah, I just needed a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, with school and everything, I don't know, just needed
It's
some
a lot.
time. So I took some time, but even
How much time?
I think 2 years, but it was COVID.
Oh,
So
so that worked out.
that did affect the dancing a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think I took 2 years off, like not on purpose, but just happened. And then it was COVID. And then after COVID, I started like missing doing something. And I guess during COVID, I actually started doing yoga.
Okay.
So I started doing yoga a lot with my mom. I was living at home. We did yoga very often. I also did yoga growing up with her a little bit and started loving that. And I was like, actually, I just love moving like my body again. I'm like, I need to do this again. So then I started looking up different adult dance studios and I found Dance Line. And then I started taking Zach's class. Shout out Zach.
He does contemporary and jazz. Now, is this the first time you ever took a class at an LA studio? Because you were just doing it, not just doing it, but you were doing it at college.
Good question. I had taken a couple classes at Playground and Millennium,
Okay.
but totally random,
Okay.
not consistently. And so this was like the first time I was like, I'm going to get back into regularly like dancing. And it was very much like, this was like the mind shift of like, I am competitive and I want to be good and I want to be perfect and my technique, train, to like, actually, I just like this.
Mm.
Like, actually, I'm just having fun. Like, I actually just like to dance. And so I really liked Dance Line because it was so welcoming and it was not like camera in your face, like performative. It was just for people who just wanted to dance every week. And I loved Zach's choreography and it just felt good. So
How did you even find Zach's
I
class?
literally Googled like LA adult dance classes and a couple of different ones came up and I was like, oh, this one's like around the corner. I'll go to that one. And so that's how I found Dance Line.
Wow. I love that you just like randomly, I like those stories. You just like
I
kind of
literally-
randomly found, like you didn't really hear about it or
Yeah.
see it. You just like found it on a Google search.
I literally,
A lot of
think
people do.
I think I Googled it. I didn't even go on Instagram or anything. I was like, dance classes LA. And of course it was like Playground Millennium and then it was like Dance Line. And I'm like, this one looks close. Okay, let's try
Yeah.
it. And I was so nervous. It's really funny. I was so nervous because I didn't know like where to go. I didn't know what people at the class wore. I didn't know how difficult it would be. I hadn't danced in a while, so I was very nervous of like it's a new experience. Which kind of like segue into my Instagram. I have made a dance Instagram and I just like to post number one what dance I'm doing, but I also made a few videos that's like what to know before you go. For the reason of like I feel like people can get nervous and don't know details and that stops them from going and trying a class.
Like you made, like she made videos of like trying a studio out and then like, you know, taking some videos of it and talking about the studio.
Yeah,
and I thought
like
it was really good.
Thank you. It's basically like to help relax like nerves so that you can just focus on having fun in the class. So I would talk about like what people wore, what time I got there, where to park, like what amenities the studio has, what the difficulty of the class is like, just so that people can be more aware before they just show up because showing up to class can be nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah.
And like you don't know anyone and there's a big group of people who's all saying hi to each other and you're like, hey, like I'm new here. So I like making those videos so that other people can like get a glimpse of what to expect before they go and try out a class.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
How long do you feel like it took before you started to like get to know people in Zach's class?
That's a really good question. I would say by the 4th week, I finally like people would like start to recognize you and be like, "Oh yeah, you're so and so." But I guess a good tip is like you should really just put yourself out there, go and introduce yourself. I remember, and like this was after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't know anyone. I was trying to meet new people. So I would literally be like, okay, Lily, like go say hi to one person. And I think the person I said hi to first was Casey.
Oh, nice.
And
Casey's
so-
approachable. Yeah.
Hi, Casey. And so I was like, hi, I'm Lily. And he was like, hello, I'm Casey. Like, nice to meet you. And so then we just got to chatting. But yeah, definitely put yourself out there. Dancers are so friendly and nice. Like,
Surprisingly, they are, even some people that you would think would be
Yes.
hard to talk to. Like that
Totally.
that's happened to me where someone's maybe a really good dancer and so I feel like intimidated. Or I think
Intimidated.
maybe they're snobby or something.
yes.
But then
they're
all of a
not
sudden, like,
at all.
I tell them like, "Oh, you did such a good job." Like,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden they're talking to me and they're like so nice and
So
they're like encouraging
nice.
me and I'm like,
Yes.
"That's so nice." Like I didn't even do a good job or
Yes.
anything, but like I think that's
very encouraging.
one way to just introduce yourself to people is just to like actually watch other dancers in class so that you could say something specific to them. Like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that was a really good leap that you did," or "That was," because it's nice to get that encouragement, but it's also a way to build relationships because then you start talking. That's actually how I
Yeah.
became friends with Jess, I think,
Oh, nice.
because I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I love watching you in
Yeah.
class. You're so good. I
She's so
always try
good.
to look like you."
Yeah.
Which I don't.
her lines. Hi, Jess. Shout out, Jess. Your lines are gorgeous and stunning every week. Yeah.
They are. And so she was like so nice and just kept chatting with me and then we talked for like a really long time and we got tacos
Oh my
and
god, fun.
so then I got to know her, but like that's a really great way to or just do Lily's, cold introduction. Just
Yep.
like
straightforward.
You're like,
I'm just straightforward.
"Hi, I'm Lily."
I'm bold,
That also works.
and I'm gonna put myself out there. And sometimes I make a fool out of myself, and sometimes it works out.
I love that. I mean, I feel like everyone definitely knows you. You're like a big part of the community here. Obviously, you teach her as well now. But you took Zach's, then I think you take Christian's, and then you sometimes take Melissa's, right?
I've taken Melissa's, yes, and also Alon's class on
Oh, yeah,
Wednesdays.
Alon's.
I love. It's honestly really hard, or it was.
This is all at C Spot, by the way. In case you don't
C-Spot.
go to C Spot, they have a lot of these contemporary jazz,
Yeah.
lyrical classes.
Yeah. It was hard for me to get here like on time. I am
Really?
always
Oh, because you're rushing
yes.
from school.
I am always late to class. I'm so sorry, teachers, but I'm such like a late person in general. But it was always really hard for me to make it to the 7 o'clock class, which is why I take a lot of the 8 p.m. classes. Because I'm rushing from Santa Monica, and then I gotta go home, and then you gotta eat, and then you gotta change, and da-da-da-da. So, yeah. But yeah, I've taken Melissa's. Hers is very challenging, too, which I really like. Christian's, I love. Zach's, I love. I like how Zach also, like, changes it up from musical theater to contemporary to like classic jazz or like new kind of commercial jazz. So he has a lot of different styles, which is fun.
Yeah.
And then let me think. Oh, I really love Alon's class, but I can't make it to that one anymore. I'm sad.
And that's
but
on Wednesday night?
On Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I think at 8 o'clock.
Performance jazz.
Or
Is that what
7
it's called?
o'clock. I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But he is so talented. Alon, you are
He's a
so
very good
talented.
dancer. Yeah.
Very good. And I like your class too. I'm hoping I can make it to more over the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we caught up to your current, like, this is mostly where no, we aren't, because you have done this whole past year of like exploring different.
Yeah.
So okay, you got into it at C Spot and you're taking these
Yes.
classes, but then tell me how you sort of got into like, because I know you take at other studios
Yeah.
and you became friends with Jordan and
Yes,
like,
I
so
was
what
gonna
kind of
say-
all happened there?
I was going to say, okay, so Jordan is now an NFL Patriots cheerleader.
Jordan.
Yeah, so shout out Jordan. She is like living her dreams. I am
So excited for her.
So happy and excited and proud of Jordan. She's just like had a goal, trained, worked hard, went for it again and again, and now she's literally like a Patriots cheerleader. That is so inspiring.
She was she lived in New York and danced there, and then she would come here sometimes, and so we got to know her, or I got to know her. I don't know Lily's whole story, but I got to know her at C Spot at the classes, and then all of a sudden she like moved here, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So then she was like looking for a job here, but she was doing tons of dance training.
Yep.
And then her goal was to be
NFL cheerleader.
an NFL cheerleader, and she literally just did it.
Yeah.
But now she's not here anymore, which I'm sad about.
She moved because she's got to perform.
But that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So talk about like, yeah, because I feel like she inspired you, right?
She totally did. Okay, so Jordan, hi if you're listening. But Jordan, we met at C Spot, and then she just would keep inviting me to different classes. And then I started taking Marissa's heels classes at the playground. Like, I've never tried a heels class before. Jordan was like, oh, come on, like, let's go, let's try it. So then I started taking those classes.
What did you feel like? Did you go to a beginner one?
Oh my God. Yes.
First? What did you feel like your first time taking beginner heels? Because I actually haven't taken it, so I'm curious about your experience.
I will tell you all about my experience. So heels is so difficult.
It looks difficult.
Way harder than it looks. Oh my goodness, I was shocked because I like to think of myself as having a lot of experience. Like I'm pretty good. I can pick up different styles. You put on the heels and your center of gravity is all different. It was definitely like a shift. Like I had to practice a lot like in my heels, and the first like month of taking the classes I was not very good.
Did you practice? Did you like walk around with heels outside of class?
Honestly, I didn't, but you get used to it. You really do. Like the more classes you take, you really do figure out like your balance, and it becomes more natural.
Did you have heels to bring to the first one?
I had to buy some. So I bought some off of Amazon, and I got like $30 heels.
Were they like totally like stiletto?
They're like stiletto, but they're not very tall. I think mine are only like 3 inches or something, but they do go up the ankle. So pro tip, get them to go up your ankle because you want it to hold you in, and then wear socks that have like cushion on the bottom.
Okay.
My first time I wore no socks, and my feet hurt so badly at the end. And so yeah, get some thick socks. And I like to tie my laces like a point shoe almost, like around your ankle, crisscross it, and then double knot. So, like, I had to figure all this stuff out. I know.
Because what did you, up until that point, how did you always dance? Was it barefoot or jazz shoes or socks, or what was what did you always do?
This is interesting because I'm very opinionated, but my opinion is changing. So, growing up, I loved barefoot, like dancing.
Even at your competitions and everything was barefoot?
Yes. Okay. I didn't really like turn shoes. I hated jazz shoes. Whenever we had a dance that we were like, oh, you have to wear jazz shoes, I'm just like, oh, like, I need to feel the floor. Yeah. I don't like feeling slippery. Yeah. It really, like, is hard to turn, but I'm like, okay, just deepen your plie to get around because I don't want to wear shoes. And then, so yeah, I've been barefoot. I like barefoot the best.
Okay.
But recently, I have been tapping into the socks.
Okay.
I think I've caved, and I think that I'm switching over to the socks.
What even made you decide to try that?
Okay. I think it's just in class, everyone here wears socks.
A lot of people, yeah.
Everyone wears socks. The Palm girls wear socks. Everyone at Playground wears socks. Everyone at C Spot wears socks. I'm like, what is this sock situation?
Even in Palm, don't they wear sneakers for that?
Yes, but we also do like, if we do technique, we'll do turn class.
Okay.
And they're like putting on socks. I'm like, you're going to slip and fall. And they do. And sometimes you do. And I'm like, I told you so. But it's also like, okay, it does help you turn. Here's what I figured out. It has to be 100% cotton.
Okay, I did figure that out too when I was trying socks. I'm not a big, huge socks fan, but if I was going to, I did learn that.
It has to be 100% cotton. Right now, I'm wearing like these Nike socks that have a little bit of, I don't know, polyester plastic in it. If I were to wear that, like, it's so slippery. Mm-hmm. But if you get the cotton sock, I also wet the bottom of it. So I'll, like, pour a little water and get the bottom wet so there's a little bit of a grip.
Yeah.
And that has been working for me. And I'm kind of loving that.
And have you been doing that in class instead of barefoot?
Yeah. I've been doing that in
Oh, okay.
Christians.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
That
this
is
New.
interesting.
And yeah, because growing up I always had like foot burns. Like
That's why I don't want to do barefoot. But see, I didn't grow up doing dance, so I can't even turn barefoot currently because I don't have the calluses. I actually do really like jazz shoes, but it's a problem when some floors are too slippery with the jazz shoes because I also, and I have tried socks. I am not totally on team socks yet, but I do agree with all the points you made. I think those are all true for socks.
And I think it's going to depend on the combo. I am a big proponent of like, you can change your shoes mid-class. For my technique class, I will say like, okay, I always say like what I'm going to do and people can make their own decision, but I'll be like, I'm going to put on socks for this next section because we're going to do repetitive turns. But if we're doing like exercises where I don't want to slip, then I'll take them off. So I think it depends on the class, depends on the choreo, and sometimes if it's like a super like flowy dance, I'll put on the socks. But I also like, it requires so much more control and like squeezing your muscles when you have socks on because you are slippery. So if it's a combo where I'm like, Christian's having us do some kind of spin, jump, twist, and I need to like land, I'll do no socks.
I feel like that would be Zach.
Oh,
Doing a
true.
spin jump twist.
That's true. My mind is going back to this combo that Christian did like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. Oh my God.
What did he do? Oh, that's true. He did do a kind of crazy turn.
Like tuck jump,
but that's very
landing.
That's very Zach's trademark.
It was Zach coded,
but
that's
Christian
true.
did put something in there like that, and I think everyone was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it was hard, and I was slipping. And
I needed no socks to like grip the floor and stick the landing.
I was struggling with that for sure. And it's interesting the point you made about like really, I forgot what you said, but like if you're gonna wear something slippery, you have to really like squeeze. That's what you said, and I was thinking that too because sometimes the jazz shoes are slippery for me, but I see people on slippery floors with socks and things who still do great. And so that's been my inspiration of like, you know what? If you have amazing technique and know how to like squeeze in all the right places and grip the right muscles, you can do it even when it's sort of slippery. And so instead of thinking, I can never do this because it's slippery, I'm like, no, I'm going to keep working at it. Because I don't really have a big goal of like building calluses at this point in my life.
Fair.
So I don't really want to tear up my feet. So I'm just like, okay, my goal is just like to be like these dancers that can dance in socks or slippery things and like they still look good. So I'm going to just work towards that.
For sure.
But yeah, so we kind of got on a tangent with that. So you got into heels. You liked that.
Yes, I got
into talk more about like that.
So Jordan brought me along to heels, and Jordan just kept bringing me to all different classes. She brought me to the pro cheer class. And that is what kind of inspired me to do my pom class at C-Spot. And so Pro Cheer LA is at 88 Studios. It's every other Sunday. I love that class. It is really hard. It's for people who are like training to be professional cheerleaders, professional dancers.
Is that the studio that has the most like, it's called Pro Cheer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That has the most people. It's full. It's people who are either like ex-professional cheerleaders or college dancers training, but like it's training to audition.
Okay.
And ultimately, those 2 classes, I kept seeing people at each class. Like I would go to the heels class and I would see someone that I just saw at the pro cheer class. So it was really fun because I was like, oh my gosh, I know all these people. Like this is really cool. And eventually I just started getting into this routine of taking these different classes with people who I kept seeing over and over. And every time I would see them, they'd be like, oh, so like, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do this time? Are you auditioning? Are you trying out? Are you this, that? And I'm like, I'm just here to take class. But it really inspired me of like, maybe I should. Like, maybe I could do this. And so that's what led me to audition for the Rams.
Wow. And had Jordan, now was Jordan auditioning regularly or had she just auditioned for something?
So Jordan had been auditioning for, I think maybe 2 years. I'm not sure. Maybe a year, but she was going to all different ones.
Okay.
I was just like, this is a crazy dream. I never, ever, ever thought I would try out or audition for like a professional dance job. I just love it. I grew up with it. I love to teach it. I love to take class. Never thought I would audition, but other people around me were doing it. I'm like, I'm going to try this out. Like, this is a huge goal. And who knows? Like,
Yeah.
who knows what could happen?
You're already doing the training with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was such a cool experience because it was just like a huge goal, and it really had me like working hard and taking classes regularly, trying like focusing in during class, then like learning about the audition process and what that's like and what look they are going for and what style is it. And I know I had like commented to you on Instagram about like the hair flips.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real skill.
Oh, yeah. It's a
Like,
skill that I don't have. But Lily was working on it, and I watched the progression. And I was like,
Thank
your
you
hair
very-
flips are
thank
getting
you.
good.
Thank you so much.
But how did you even hear about the audition?
Other people,
Okay.
like people in the class would just ask you, like, are you going to audition for a pro team this year? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh my God, you should. I'm like, tell me more. So they were just explaining, like, well, you could do the Rams. Are you going to try out for the Lakers? Like all these LA teams. And I just got inspired and I went out on a limb and I'm like, I'm going to try something crazy. So I tried out, didn't make the team, but that's okay. And, you know, it was just so cool to work hard for something.
Mhm.
And this is something my mom always taught me growing up is she says that half the battle is showing up. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm just going to go and see what happens. And I went and I saw what happened and it was really cool. And I got to dance with like these amazing dancers. And yeah, it was just something I never thought I would do. And it was cool to do it.
And that was your first time at an audition in general.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Yes.
Because you do so much. You are a professional dancer because you teach dance. Like that's a profession and
Yeah.
dance is your life.
This is something I have been like struggling with, honestly, is that conversation of like when I meet people, I'm like, can I say or should I say like, oh, I'm a dancer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course you
There's some
can.
part of me that's like, well, I'm not like a performer. Like, I'm not getting paid to perform. Like, I'm not a dancer on a backup tour. You know, like what I've been struggling in my head of like, at what point do you get to say like, I'm a dancer?
You know what? It's interesting you bring that up because I take tons of dance class. I don't really do anything professional with dance, although I have now taught 2 classes.
Yay!
But I always felt weird. People would introduce me as, oh, Tracy's a dancer because I take dance almost every day.
Yeah.
But I would be like, well, I would
Right?
always say, well, I just take a lot of dance class. I'm a person who
Yes.
takes a lot of dance class.
Right?
And you know when it was that I started saying I was a dancer?
Yeah.
It was I got injured and I couldn't dance.
Oh.
But I was going to a lot of physical therapy
Oh.
and I was doing that. And for some reason, in the midst of all of the doctors and all of the physical therapists, I think I had to always, I was getting introduced. They were like, oh, Tracy's a dancer and she hurt her toe and da-da-da. And
Oh.
somehow through the year that I didn't dance as much or hardly at all because I was injured, I started to say I was a dancer because it was making sense in the
Yeah.
conversations with the physical therapists
That's
and stuff.
so interesting.
And I'm like, why does it the year that I'm dancing the least
Yeah.
that all of a sudden I'm really comfortable being
Yes.
like I'm a dancer?
That's so interesting.
And then going back to dance after I was healed, I'm just really comfortable.
Mhm.
Well, I still struggle a little in the way
Yeah.
that you do, but I do say it more now. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Okay.
a dancer, or
Yeah.
sometimes I say I'm pursuing dance, but literally I don't even know like exactly what I'm pursuing
Yeah.
with it.
Right? It's something that recently, because I have been doing a lot of like jobs with dance
Yeah.
teaching.
And you're
I'm like,
choreographing.
I'm a dance teacher. I'm a dance coach, but I'm not, and I haven't been like paid for people to come watch me. And so I don't know, there's like a slight tinge when I'm like, I don't feel like I could say like I'm a dancer, but it's like
I
this
think you
is
can
my
definitely.
life.
You would not be
know?
able to do all of those things if you weren't a dancer. The whole reason you
Yeah.
can do all those dance jobs is because you are a dancer.
Yeah.
So I think you should have no problem saying you're a dancer. If someone wants to get into the nitty gritty of all the
Yeah.
details of your careers,
Right.
then you can tell them like,
Sure.
yeah, this is what I do with dance. You know,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about possibly performing at some point
Yeah.
more. But if no one's asking you for all those details, you are
Right.
definitely a dancer.
Well,
I think
thank
you could
you, Tracy.
say that in any situation.
Thank you so much. I'm going to take that to heart because I've been feeling weird. Like, I'll meet new people and they're like, so, like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I like teach dance. I take class. I do this. I do so many things with it, but I never say, like, I'm a dancer. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's
I think you should challenge yourself with
I
that.
think I should.
Just
okay.
find opportunities to say it just to practice it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the same way you used to encourage yourself to be like, I'm Lily.
Yeah.
You should just find opportunities to be like, whenever anyone asks you, I'm a dancer.
Yes.
And then if they ask you more, like, oh, what do you do?
And like,
you can
I have a lot of
expound.
stuff to say.
You have so much stuff to
Yeah.
say. Like, you have so much stuff to say. And I don't think any of those things is not a dancer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
They're
thanks,
all,
Tracy.
you have to be a dancer to do those things.
No, you're right. I'm gonna channel it. I'm gonna say it.
So now okay, well, here's my question. When you were younger, did you have a specific dance dream for as you got older?
Oh, that's such a good question. The answer is no.
Okay.
Like, and I think this is an Arizona, LA thing. In Arizona, like, I always knew or like thought or imagined that like once you graduate high school, like that's the end of your dance career. Like that's the end of my like competitive, like I'm never gonna, I remember in high school being like, I need to soak it up. I need to push myself because I'm never going to do this again.
Oh,
I know, right?
Didn't you know that colleges had that stuff? Or?
I did, but I don't know. There was just something that I was like, nope, this is the end of the road, I guess. And in Arizona, though, like they don't have a ton of like adult dance studios.
Okay.
They don't have a playground. They don't have like
where were you at in Arizona?
Phoenix, North Phoenix. So
the main
huge,
place.
Yeah, huge competitive dance scene, like
conventions and stuff, right?
Yes, like really, really big studios, really intense competitive dance studios. But it's very, very different than LA dance studios, which is something that I'm kind of learning, teaching at different ones. Is here there's either artistic, like people going and doing a contemporary company or like ballet artistic dance, almost like modern vibe, or very commercial. Like I'm not seeing a lot in the middle that's like what I'm used to, competitive.
Okay.
So it's either like very emotional and like videography, cinematography, like lighting and costume contemporary, or a lot of like hip hop video, TikTok style, like upbeat commercial fun.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. A lot of the studios that I've been at, I haven't seen like what I grew up with in Arizona, which I think was the standard for Arizona dance. So it's kind of interesting, like the difference of the LA Arizona dance
and the fact that LA has adult dance classes or lots of them and professional ones and everything.
There's just so much more, which is so cool and so nice, and why I'm trying to like live it up too is like there's so much out there. There's so many cool classes to take, so many different levels. Like there's a K-pop class that I really want to take at LA Dance Fit. There would have never, ever, ever been a K-pop class in Arizona, at least from what I knew of when I was growing up there. Like, there's just so many different little pockets to try, and that's really, really fun about LA.
And when you took dance in college, you still weren't thinking like...
No.
Or when you did dance in college, you still weren't thinking like, oh, I could do something with this. You were just like... Because you became a teacher.
Yeah.
You studied like education.
Yes.
And what do you teach besides dance?
I teach high school special ed reading improvement.
Okay.
So I teach students how to read.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we do a lot of reading exercises all day,
That's really
every day.
cool.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that for...
This is my 3rd year teaching at a high school. This is my 1st year taking over the reading program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I coached the pom team at Samo High.
And how many years have you coached the pom team?
2.
Okay.
So I'm going into my 3rd year coaching them.
And you were coaching them before you started going to these pro cheer classes. That's interesting.
Yes, it is. And it's really strengthened going to the pro cheer classes has really strengthened my ability to choreograph. I think by
cool.
taking a lot more classes in the pom style, I'm better able to choreograph for the pom team.
You have a bigger vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly. And especially teaching my class at the C spot. But I will say the pom girls, they choreograph on their own everything.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really good about that, and they like to do it. It's
cool.
really cool. They love to choreograph their own. I give them a little tidbit here and there. But I think that next year would be really fun to give them a little bit of this is what the NFL girls are doing.
That's great.
So
I'm sure they'll love it.
Yeah, and I really think that next year I want to challenge them. And so we've been working on our technique, and so I'd like to see some technique in their routines next year, which will be really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
So now that you did the audition for the Rams,
yes,
do you feel like you want to go on more auditions? Did this spark something for you, or what's that?
Oh, this is so interesting, and I don't have an answer quite yet. I think I do want to try it. It really opened up my eyes of people do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People audition all the time and they get roles all the time. And so I would love to dabble in different varieties of dance, of doing it professionally. I have a goal. I want to do one thing professionally in the sense of performing.
Yeah.
One thing. And then I think that will scratch my itch of I'm a dancer. I'm a professional performative dancer. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So whether that's an NFL team, whether that's being on Disney Channel, that would be really cool. A commercial, I don't know what, but yeah, something. I want to do one thing in my life, and then I think I will be satisfied.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal.
So I think over the summer, I'm gonna take into account what are the different options.
Mm-hmm.
Go try it again.
Yeah. I love it, but I love it because it's something fun you kind of want to do, but it also seems like you're pretty content with
Mm-hmm.
you really love teaching and
Yes.
taking class and everything.
I know, and it's so it's very interesting. I've always wanted to do teaching, and I love teaching, and it's such it's that safe environment, safe bet. I have my insurance benefits, and I have a routine, and I love my students, and I know how to do the job and all of that kind of stuff. And it has not been until recently where I'm I never thought of professionally performing dancing as an option. And so now I'm kind of this is interesting. I didn't even think it was a door I could open, and now I've kind of cracked the door open, and I'm ooh, maybe I should try and do this. But it's great too because teaching, you have so much time off.
Yeah.
So in the summertime, I'm okay, let me dabble. This is my time to explore. This is my time to audition. This is my time to take as many classes as I can. So I do love teaching for that reason too. You get time. It's the gift of time to try different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all of that.
Yeah.
That's so good. I feel like we kind of got through we kind of heard everything, I feel like.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say.
I'm trying to see if I have any other questions I really want to hear from you. What about you have a kids program coming up. Did you want to talk about that at all?
Yes. Okay. Again, this is my year of trying new things. And so I have worked with Champ Camp Kids It's a summer camp for kids ages like 4 to 12, so elementary age students. And we do a beach camp. And so I've been working with them year after year. I love this company. And I love doing kids camps. I love working with kids. So as the years have gone on, I've kind of sprinkled in the idea of like, oh, what if we do like a kids dance camp? And so this year's the first year that we're going to be doing a kids dance camp. We
Oh,
have
wow.
a location that is so cool. It is a youth center on the beach. So it's like a building where we can see
Wow.
the ocean. I'm like, this is the coolest
Where is
dance
it?
studio.
Is it in Santa Monica?
No, it's in Dockweiler
Oh,
State Beach.
yeah. Wow, that's so cool.
And so yeah, it's gonna be really awesome. And yeah, just teaching kids like 30 to 45-minute intervals of different styles. So I'll teach them a little bit of a hip hop combo. We're going to do our cheerleading pom. We're going to be doing ballet and jazz. We're going to be doing yoga. And so I think it'll be really fun. I don't work with kid dancers too often. So it's really just like a combination of a lot of stuff that I love. I love working with kids. I love to teach and I love to dance. And I love the beach. Like, this is such a cool location.
Wow. That's so cool.
So, yeah, we're going to be doing, in the month of July, we're going to be doing 3 weeks of dance camp, but it's only 2 days a week.
Okay.
So, it's Wednesdays and Fridays. And then the rest of the days, we're at the beach and we're doing beach camp.
What do you do at beach camp that's not dance? What's the normal stuff?
It's like playing games and we go to the water and we do
nice.
sandcastles and coloring
Aw.
and all like tie-dye. Like it's a full-on
Wow.
beach summer camp. It's really fun.
That is so cool because you have the
Yeah.
building so you can do all
Yes.
the indoor stuff still. But then
Exactly.
you're right at the beach so you
Yeah.
can do all of that.
Yeah, so
that sounds amazing.
It's like a combination of all my favorite things.
Yeah,
So
because a
that'll
lot
be
of
really
camps are
cool.
like at a lake or something.
Yeah,
but it's like we have the
exactly.
beach right here. So
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I
so
love
it's going to be a beautiful studio. I can't wait for that. And yeah, so it's a new thing that we're going to try. Again, this is my year of trying all different things. So we'll see how
love
this
that.
one
I
goes.
love that.
Yeah.
Lily, I don't know. I feel like we covered okay. Here's one. Maybe your last question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
What do you like to eat to fuel you? Because
my
you are
God.
always on the go.
This is a good question. So, honestly, when I was training for the audition, I was really, really paying attention to what I was eating, more so because I was dancing so much. I was really like being active and I was going on runs and I was like getting as physically strong as I could. And I was like, I need to eat healthy, but it needs to be like substantial. So, and I hate eating right before I dance, so I would eat like an hour and a half pre
Okay.
dance class. And so I really just followed like regular health guidelines, but protein, carbs, fruits, vegetables, and I would drink a lot of water way before
Okay.
I started dancing so that it would like be settled
Yeah.
before I started like doing a 3-hour workout ensemble. And like on my Saturdays, my technique class and my palm class are each about an hour and a half. So it's like
Yeah, it's
3
right
hours
after each other.
straight. And so I need a lot of energy. It's like high energy
Yeah.
cardio for those. So I would eat like a big breakfast on
okay.
Saturdays. So yeah, I would definitely like fuel up lots of chicken and rice.
And I was going to say, what's your favorite protein?
Favorite protein is chicken. But I would do like a lot of sandwiches because they're so easy and they have everything just in a little pocket. So I recommend sandwiches. Also recommend like egg scramble. Super easy.
I love, putting vegetables and eggs or
Yeah.
things. You can always like do different things
And
with
it's
it.
just like you can get all the stuff that you need in one.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
I
always
mean?
nice.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to talk about technique.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of what, like, I love technique. And I don't think that's super common in people that I've met at the C Spot or people who are like I said, LA has so many like artistic dancers, which is an area that I could stand to work on, and commercial dancers. But I don't know. I don't see a ton of technique classes, like leaps
Yeah.
and turns classes. Like,
Yeah.
how are you all learning these skills?
Yeah.
Because you need to know them, but like, no one's teaching
There's
them.
a little bit. I know there used to be back in the day. So like when did you move to LA?
2017?
Okay. Did you ever take class at Edge?
No.
So yeah, they used to have a lot more technique there, and that's kind of most of my training when I
I heard
started.
about that.
And you could start at like the lowest levels of it, which
Right.
was really nice.
Yeah.
Now it is harder to find. Like
Right?
there's a couple of jazz technique classes at Movement Lifestyle that are really good.
Okay.
But I mean, that's all I have for you too, you know. And then
Yeah.
there's some at C Spot. You teach one,
Yeah.
and
And it's like for adults specifically, like there are no technique classes.
it's hard to find for sure.
Really
It's like if you didn't
hard.
learn it growing up, it's recently become harder to find in LA. I
Yeah.
don't believe that was the case in the past, but
Yeah.
like post COVID, there's dance classes everywhere. You're never
Yeah.
going to be like there's always going to be a dance class,
Mhm.
but technique specifically a little harder to find. So if you are
Yeah.
starting as a beginner adult who hasn't already learned that, or if you just want to like work on it and
Yes.
keep it up, you
There's
know,
no
like
place to like practice your turns and
Yeah.
practice
Yeah.
your leaps other than like it's in a combo, like
right.
go.
And that's why
Yeah.
because I started to teach a beginning jazz class, and same, I like to, and that's really supposed to be for like newer dancers, you know, or someone who hasn't maybe learned a pirouette yet. It's like, let's just work on
Yes.
Batmas just to the front,
Yes.
where it's like not even confusing. You're just working on building that muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
Working on quarter pirouettes, you know, just working on
Yes.
that balance. Because I've always enjoyed technique. I
Yeah.
have had actually a good amount of technical training. I've only started dancing 5 years ago, so it's still on the low end, but like a lot of my training was in technique.
Yeah.
And so I do kind of know how to like build it. I just have to keep working at it.
Exactly.
But the fact that it's kind of hard to find now is a little bit sad.
It's definitely hard, and there's no levels.
Right.
Like
New
there's
York has a
no
lot of levels.
beginning,
and we don't have it here right
intermediate,
now.
advanced. I would love to take like an advanced technique class.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, I love to do leaps and turns and tricks and like cool things like that. But I have yet to see like an advanced technique class where it's like, okay, this class, we are drilling Seikon turns.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't done
Yeah.
those turns in
Yeah.
forever unless it's my class. You know, so I'm like, that's why I like doing the technique class a lot. I just feel like there's not a lot of that around.
Yeah. There's one I'm going to send to you later that you might like. I haven't
Okay.
tried the advanced one because I'm not quite at the advanced technique level yet, but like I went to the more beginner technique at Movement Lifestyle, and even that really pushes you. It's not, I don't believe it's actually, well, anyone could go, but I do think the dancers that go are a little more advanced, and that's the beginner one. So I haven't gone to the advanced one, but it might be what you're looking for. Still, that's only one class that I know of. So Lily is still correct that there's not a lot, but I will send you that one just in case it works for you. But yeah, it is sad.
You have to have the technique. It just makes learning the dance combos so much easier. Like,
yeah,
if you have muscle memory of knowing how to do a double pirouette just in the back of your head, you could do it at any time, you could do it in your sleep, then you can do your double pirouette from any position in the choreography.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times at C Spot, I've seen and helped people who get confused because you're doing a pirouette from like a different starting point, not like a proper prep. You're going from like a lunge, or you're coming out of a roll or something like that. And that can really trip people up. And so I always think like you need to know how to do it like properly before you can add on the nuance in a routine or in a combo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish there were more technique classes. If anybody knows any, let me know.
Put in the comments if you know any
Comment
good
down below.
technique classes.
And if anyone wants more technique classes, comment down below. I would love to teach more technique classes. So
yeah,
it would be really fun.
Yeah, I love that topic.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Lily, this has been so great.
Yay! This was a great
I feel like I learned a lot about you.
Good, I'm
and
glad.
I love the joy that you have about dance.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad you are like kind of making yourself take a vacation.
Yeah.
I think you're going to come back with so much energy to keep trying all your
Yes, oh
things
my
that you're
gosh.
trying.
Totally. I'm like, I need this vacation, you guys. I am the type of person, like, I'm a yes person. It's hard for me to say no. And that's been really great for my year of trying things. But I definitely need, like, a break. And so then I can come back and, like, do it all again.
I think that's one of the things you're trying. You're
Yeah.
like, I am also trying to take
Yes,
a break.
I'm trying to take a break. Exactly. And Tracy, like, you're so inspiring.
Aw.
I love watching you dance and I love seeing your growth. You put in the effort every day, every class.
Aw.
Like, the effort as a teacher, a school teacher, a dance teacher, like, effort is everything. And so I'm really, like, inspired by how much you just come in, you're focused, you're diligent, you put yourself out there, you ask your questions, and you really have improved.
Aw, thanks, Lily. I know, I do feel like there's been a lot of growth, and it's pretty awesome. Even though
Yes.
sometimes you don't know it in the moment because
Yeah.
you just are inside yourself and you're like, oh, I'm frustrated about this or this or this. But then you look back and you're like, okay, wait a
Like,
second.
wow,
Let's
that was
celebrate the ways that
pretty
I've
good.
improved, you know?
Good. Okay,
So
I'm
thank
glad.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
cheers.
We inspire each other.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on the podcast,
course.
Lily. And I think we probably need to like eat something.
Yeah, we
So-
do. We're hungry.
Lily's taught 2 classes and it's like past lunchtime and yeah, this needs to happen. But thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, and we'll see you next time.
Yay, we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Bye.
Tracy.
Thank you.
Bye.